What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bruce Springsteen. And we're here to conclude his 1973 debut album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Thank you once again to Michaela. And again, this is just the first proper chapter in what will be a very long journey. And eventually I'm going to start going through some music videos and live performances and so on Patreon, so bear with me in that regard as well. In any case, the last track on this album is It's Hard to Be a Saint in This City. So, I don't know, my first thought is so is this relating to the city of the album title, Asbury Park? If it's not, maybe my next inclination is to think it would be New York City, because there's certainly been songs of Bruce's I've already heard which relate to New York City and the hustle and bustle and the different types of people and sights and sounds that you might encounter there. So yes, I do wonder where we are, but just to look at the other aspect of the title, the idea maybe of a city in general being a place, and maybe some cities in particular, Las Vegas comes to mind, where vice and entertainments and, let's say, the illicit is more prominent than you might find in suburban or rural settings, and thus the temptations and the potential immorality, or at the very least the sinning that might transpire in such an environment, is at an elevated level, again, relative to other places. So yes, be that New York City, Asbury Park, Las Vegas, or otherwise, it sounds like, at least on the surface, that's the point being made, that even good people, even people with benevolent intentions and a degree of civility toward others and self-respect, if you will, toward themselves, might find themselves slipping into behavior or decision-making that is of a more complicated, if not dubious, ethical nature. So let's see if anything I just said is relevant, or at least what I can pick up on a first hearing. This is Bruce Springsteen. The song is It's Hard to Be a Saint in This City, the city. Okay, I mean, I guess it doesn't fundamentally change the meaning, but the versus this, I guess that is slightly different. So to say the correct title, this is Bruce Springsteen and It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City, which, I don't know, does that make it more likely to be New York? I guess we'll find out. And it's from his 1973 album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey.
I had skin like leather and my diamond heart look of a cobra. I was born blue and weather, but I burst just like a supernova. I could walk like Brando right into the sun, dance just like a Casanova. With my blackjack and jacket and hair slick sweet, silver star studs on my duds like a Harley and Heat. When I stood down the street, I could feel its heartbeat. Sisters fell back, said, don't that man look pretty? The cripple on the corner cried out nickels for your pity. Them gasoline boys downtown sure talk gritty. It's so hard to be a saint in the city. I was the king of the island, mama, I could talk some trash. I was a prince of the paupers, crying downtown at the beggar's bash. I was a pimp's main prophet, I kept everything cool, just a backstreet gambler with a luck to lose. And when the heat came down and it was left on the ground, devil appeared like Jesus through the steam in the street, showing me a hand I knew even the cops couldn't beat. I felt the hot breath on my neck as I dove into the heat. It's so hard to be a saint when you're just a boy out on the street. And the sages of the subway sit just like like the living dead. The tracks clack out the rhythm, their eyes fixed straight ahead. They ride the line of balance and hold on by just a thread. But it's too hot in these tunnels, you can get hit up by the heat. You get up to get out at your next stop, and they push you back down in your seat. Your heart starts beating faster as you struggle to your feet. You're out at home, back up on the street, and they'll sense that sister sure look pretty. The cripple on the corner cries out nickels for your pity. Them downtown boys, they sure talk gritty. It's so hard to be a saint here in the city. It's so hard. Well,
Fading. A perfect end to this album in that it's got all of the lyrical expression and, you know, quick scenery and different characters that a number of the songs have had. It's got all of the dynamic instrument and musical qualities that several of the tracks have featured, meaning we've got this guitar which is very, you know, energetic and intensifies at certain moments. We've got the piano which is, you know, big and flourishing, and then more on this in a moment, and like it'll suddenly alternate into these little tiny melodic runs, these repetitive, not in a bad way, but like repeating rather, runs in the like smaller sections. And then, of course, the drums are kind of cycling for all of it, like both the bigger sections, like the chorus, and then the verses, which seem to be a bit more narrow sonically. But yeah, the kick drum rhythm was crazy. It was very, like, again, syncopated and cycling. And then at the end, it kind of made me feel like we were on the subway. Like, it was the sound of the subway kind of chugging along. And incidentally, that made me think maybe this is more likely to be a place like New York, which obviously has a very famous and large subway system. But yeah, so again, there's like vocally he flares up at different points, but he's rhyming quickly, and it's another one where I wonder if he's using the rhyming dictionary, because like the rapid fire rhyming phrases in this narrative, they just come so quick, and they like, you know, his vocal dexterity is something that already very much comes across. And then again, there's multiple points along the way where he like heats up his vocals a little bit. So yeah, it's like, it's storytelling, it's very visual, and again, it sounds like fundamentally he's talking about being like a boy on the streets, and he's a gambler in back alleys, and I don't know if heat is like, you know, when you're putting it on the line and you're betting on the hand you have, which again, I think he's using like in a literal sense, but then also there was a line about like, I've got a hand that even the police can't beat, so maybe again, if you're involved in illegal gambling and like, you know, you're putting it all on the line, but also like sometimes you just gotta go for it because your hand is so good that, you know, even the powers that be can't stop you, or they can't beat those odds. So yeah, I'd say most fundamentally it sounds like someone who is limited, like socioeconomically. He's again a kid on the streets. He doesn't come, you know, he doesn't have a silver spoon in his hand. He doesn't come from a background where he can afford to just, you know, wait for opportunities that'll be given to him, or an inheritance that will come to him. He's out on the streets again trying to, you know, make a buck, or, you know, win a hand that will, like, you know, get him to the next day or the next week, the next month, and so on. So yeah, like, again, it sounds like he's saying, yeah, I'm a good kid, but sometimes I gotta do things that are technically illegal, or I gotta, you know, engage in gambling or things that are considered a vice, because that's what it's like to try to make it in the city. It's hard to be a saint in this city, even for a guy who is, you know, all other things being equal, a good boy. So yeah, that's what I took away from it. Let me know how wrong I am, but that seemed to be at least some of what's happening here. But again, like the Gasoline Boys and the the other boys who like they're always talking pretty. It sounds like there's other people competing or trying to make it or to win over others in this environment. So he's not just doing this independent of anyone else. He's doing it in the context of these other people, these other characters who are out here. Though again, the like rhyme schemes I think are interesting even apart from the narrative. Just the florid nature of his word choice and prose really does stand out, and not just on this song but across this whole album. So an awesome opening proper chapter, and obviously we had sort of the prologue or the not the encore, the appetizer or the overture for the Bruce deep dive among the selected tunes that Michaela made available. So in the moment, I don't remember what the next album is, but I just had this huge folder which has all these like subfolders, all these albums that we'll be going through. I guess I could check right now. So just to give a hint about where we're going next. So the next one is The Wild, the Innocent, and the E Street Shuffle, 1973 also, so the same year. And isn't the E Street Band, isn't that kind of the band that supports him? I think that's right. Let me know if I'm getting that wrong. Oh man, there's so much in here. I mean, Michaela has spoiled us all. Like, there's all these albums, and then like halfway through this set of folders, there's this like box set with 66 unreleased songs, and then the Seeger Sessions, the Seeger Sessions live at Hammersmith Odeon 1975. I mean, there's just so much happening here, and I'm looking forward to it all. So yes, again, we're still in the like, the infancy of this larger Bruce deep dive, and I'm looking forward to it all. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.